In the rolling plains of Nebraska, surrounded by miles of prairie grass, stood an old barn. Weathered by time and the elements, it was a relic from the 1800s, a stark reminder of a bygone era. The barn had been abandoned for decades, its wood darkened to a near black by the relentless sun and wind. Yet, despite its decrepit state, the barn was far from forgotten. The locals of the nearby town of Aurora whispered of a silent guardian, a black owl that roosted in the rafters of the barn. They said the owl was the reincarnated soul of Thomas Blackwood, the original owner and builder of the farmstead, who had died under mysterious circumstances. According to legend, Thomas had hidden a great treasure somewhere in or beneath the barn, and the owl watched over it, ensuring that only the worthy could find it. Thomas Blackwood had been a prosperous farmer in the mid-1800s. Known for his shrewd business acumen and his skill in cultivating the land, he amassed considerable wealth. Yet, despite his success, Thomas was a reclusive man, distrusting of banks and outsiders. He built the barn himself, a massive structure that was said to have secret compartments and hidden passages. One stormy night, Thomas vanished without a trace. His body was never found, and rumors spread like wildfire. Some claimed he had been murdered for his fortune, others believed he had fled to start anew elsewhere. But the most persistent legend was that Thomas had hidden his wealth within the barn and met a tragic end while trying to protect it. His soul, they said, had taken the form of a black owl, cursed to guard the treasure for eternity. The legend of Thomas Blackwood and his treasure intrigued many over the years, but none had succeeded in finding it. The barn remained untouched, save for the occasional thrill-seeker who dared to venture inside, only to be scared away by the eerie presence of the black owl. It wasn't until the summer of 2021 that a new chapter in the barn story began. Evan Michaels was a young archaeologist with a passion for local history. Having grown up in Aurora, he had heard the stories of Thomas Blackwood and his treasures since childhood. Now, armed with modern technology and a deep knowledge of historical construction techniques, Evan was determined to uncover the truth. Evan arrived at the old barn on a hot August morning. The air was thick with the scent of wildflowers and the distant hum of cicadas. The barn loomed before him, its dark silhouette a stark contrast against the bright sky. As he approached, he felt a shiver run down his spine. The black owl was perched on the highest beam, its yellow eyes staring intently at him. Ignoring the unease that settled in his stomach, Evan set to work. He began by carefully examining the exterior, noting the craftsmanship and the weathered details that spoke of its age. As he moved inside, the musty smell of old wood and dust greeted him. Sunlight filtered through the gaps in the walls, casting an eerie glow on the hay-strewn floor. Evan started his search methodically, using ground-penetrating radar to scan the floors and walls for hidden compartments or buried objects. Hours turned into days as he meticulously combed through the barn. The black owl watched him silently, never leaving its perch. After a week of relentless searching, Evan's patience was rewarded. The radar detected an anomaly beneath the barn's floorboards. Heart-pounding, he carefully pried up the old planks, revealing a hidden trapdoor. The door was heavy and creaked ominously as he lifted it, revealing a narrow staircase descending into darkness. Armed with a flashlight, Evan descended the stairs, feeling a rush of excitement and fear. The air grew colder as he moved deeper into the underground chamber. At the bottom of the stairs, he found himself in a small, stone-walled room. In the center of the room was an old chest, its surface covered in dust and cobwebs. Evan's hands trembled as he approached the chest. He carefully brushed away the cobwebs and lifted the lid. Inside, he found a collection of gold coins, jewelry, and old documents, Thomas Blackwood's hidden treasure. But alongside the treasure was something even more valuable, a leather-bound journal. Evan opened the journal with reverence. The pages were yellowed with age, but the ink was still legible. As he read, the story of Thomas Blackwood unfolded before him. The journal detailed Thomas's life, his struggles, and his triumphs. It spoke of his mistrust of banks and his decision to hide his wealth to protect it from those who would seek to take it from him. But the most chilling part of the journal was the final entry. Thomas wrote of a premonition, a vision of his death and the curse that would follow. He believed that his soul would be bound to the barn, watching over the treasure until someone worthy could claim it. The black owl, Thomas wrote, was a manifestation of his spirit, a guardian of his legacy. Evan closed the journal, feeling a deep sense of connection to Thomas Blackwood. He realized that finding the treasure was only part of his journey. He had to honor Thomas's legacy and ensure that the treasure was used for good. With a newfound sense of purpose, Evan carefully repacked the chest and climbed back up the stairs. As he emerged from the underground chamber, the black owl swooped down from its perch and landed on a nearby beam. It stared at Evan with an intensity that seemed almost human. Evan nodded, understanding the silent message. He had proven himself worthy, and the curse was lifted. Evan returned to Aurora with the treasure and the journal. He used the wealth to establish a historical foundation in Thomas Blackwood's name, dedicated to preserving local history and supporting the community. The old barn was restored and turned into a museum, where visitors could learn about the legend of Thomas Blackwood and the true story behind the treasure. The black owl, freed from its duty, disappeared into the wild, its silent watch finally over. The legend of the old barn lived on, but now it was a story of redemption and legacy, a testament to the power of history and the enduring spirit of those who came before. Evan Michaels had uncovered the truth and honored a forgotten hero, ensuring that the dark secrets of the past would be remembered and celebrated for generations to come.